Thankful. Let us pray. Our God and our Father, we love you tonight, and we stand in your presence seeking your direction. We thank you first for being our God and being God of us all. We thank you for this moment in time that we can pause for just a few moments to come and pay tribute to this great man that you have allowed to walk among us. We are thankful tonight that as we look out into this congregation and we see so many faces, you are proven to us tonight that we can stand together, even though the enemy has sought to keep us divided, even though the enemy has sought to separate us. By tonight, by the numbers of people who are here, it is proven that we can not only sing together, but we can walk together. We pray that this will be a learning experience for us as we listen to the words from the masters. We pray that we shall walk away inspired and lifted up. And we pray that as we look forward to the end of this year, where we have been faced with so many problems, so many of our young men have died, so many of our young women have died. AIDS has taken so many from us, and where we stand really not knowing where we should be going, but deep down in our hearts, we know that there is the promised land above. And we pray that as we stay here tonight, that we will be encouraged, that we will be stronger, that our backs will be straighter, that our feet will be more firmly planted. In God's name we pray. Let God's people say amen. Amen.
Dr. Esther Hyatt. Welcome her as she welcomes you.
Hotep, brothers and sisters. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome you and to bring greetings from the United African Movement to you, our brothers and sisters in the struggle. As all of you well know, we have a most wonderful evening ahead of us. Tonight, we shall be giving honor to one of the most distinguished scholars the world has known, our own Dr. Ben. Our own Dr. Ben is to receive the Leo Hansberry Award tonight in this beautiful home, Bethany Baptist Church, in and among the African community. We are honored to have our first recipient, who will be with us shortly. Our first recipient of the Leo Hansberry Award, and that is Dr. John Henry Clark. Both Dr. Ben and Dr. Clark have been the seeds that have brought forth the fruit being you, those of you who are assembled here, as well as individuals throughout this country and throughout the world. In our welcome to you, we want you to know that we recognize you as the African warriors, the African supporters that keep our organization alive. Once again, brothers and sisters, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Hyatt. The United African Movement, as with any organization, does not function by one person's work alone. Many people come together to keep this organization viable, keep it thriving. We're going to introduce to you now one of the people who's been a driving force in the United African Movement, and he will be introducing the committee members that helped put this night together. Let us welcome Mr. Roy Canton.
Thank you. I would like to call on some of the members that helped. It's unfortunate that I'm going to forget people I should call, I may not call. And anybody that knows me around UM knows that that would not be intentional. I tried my utmost best to get Haley's name on this here, and I forgot Haley's name, so let me deal with the rest. The most important person to me during this period was Joanne Cheatham, last year and again. So I'd like Joanne Cheatham to take a stand up. She probably is hiding. She's very shy. Oh, there she is. Come over here. And also Janet Baggett. Come over, Janet. Miss Leola Maddox, is she here yet? Okay, let's give a hand, Miss Leola Maddox. She'll be out soon. There's a few people I call, Ron Lois is not here yet, but he was one of the people. But there's names that I'm going to call also that they were actually not part of the program, but they just, just couldn't see it and helped and so forth, and I really appreciated it. And some of the names are Bobby Powell, Zaire, Shirley Brown, Martin Graves, Brother Glenn Shakomaat. Am I pronouncing your name, Glenn? Sorry about that. Shakomaat, and Trilby Eiffel, and Sarah Russell. I know that there's other people that help us, and I am really regretful that may not have your name. If I do, I regret that. Also, we would like next year, when we do this again, that we know that you love Dr. Ben and you love Dr. Clark. But they are not the only historians we've ever had. The only reason why we don't know of most of them is because Regrettably, our people never really kept our historians like we should have. So we asking you, from now on, the William Leo Hansberry Award, we want it to be recognized in the black community as an award that should be more important than the most valuable player that Magic Johnson may get or whatever award that Michael Jackson get. There's no way that you could equate these two with Dr. Ben or Dr. Clark. So we not expect white folks to do that for us. So from now on, we're going to appeal to you that next year, although the person may not be a Dr. Clark or a Dr. Ben, but we give them the William Leo Hansberry Award. That means they did something strong for the black community. So I'd like for you to do the same output that we have tonight for whoever we bring to you next year. Thank you very much.
We're now going to show a documentary on Dr. Yosef Ben-Jochannan. We want to thank, of course, Transatlantic Productions and Minister Clemson Brown for his good work in putting this together. We're going to ask the people who are back here to come over in the front rows here so that this brother keeps me on my toes each and every day because I have to listen to him to find out what he's talking about so that my program makes sense from 2 o'clock until we sign off. Let's welcome Imhotep Gary Bird.
All right. So we are in the house tonight, I see, right? Let's give it up once again for Minister Clemson Brown. That was fantastic. Really. Before I begin, I'd like to send a special thanks this evening to the United African Movement. Something happened the other day that I think very much showed the spirit of where this organization is coming from, which I think we see every week on a regular basis, but sometimes there is a danger about having things occur on too regular a basis. I had a friend come by today, and she came by, and I hadn't seen her since actually Egypt, and she said, well, look, she said, can you run over to the new hospital facility, which was just built? We'd like you to check it out. I said, well, I have to actually do some work on the show because, you know, we really have to work on Monday to make sure things are okay for next week. She said, really? You have to work on the show? I said, yes, sister. We actually have to work on it. And it's interesting because when you start getting something that happens every day with a certain kind of routine, you can forget that there's a certain amount of effort that's got to go in it to make that particular process happen on a sort of clockwork-like basis. Such is true with what you see happening at the Slave Theater each and every week. You don't really see what's going on behind the scenes, but there's a tremendous effort that is going on to bring you the programs that you are seeing every week. And somehow in the midst of all of that, you also have to be prepared for the unexpected event that's going to happen in the midst of your regular activities as well. And such was the case this past week with the tragedy that befell the Weaver family. Most of you are familiar with this tragedy which took place in which we saw the Weaver family suffer the loss of several loved ones and a very brave and heroic young man who stood on a roof with the house in flames, and when he realized that the rest of his family members were not out, went back into the fire to rescue his family. This is a young hero that we are talking about, one of our own. And he's the one that you won't see on the front pages of the newspapers because his hands weren't handcuffed behind his back. He stood like a brave soldier. Well, this family suffered a hardship. They literally lost, besides the human cost, they lost everything. Okay, we're talking no essentials at all, no clothing, no food, no anything. So I had a conversation with Roy Canton around Friday night. We've been doing our best at the station to more or less mobilize funds, and it'll be an ongoing effort to do that. And Roy and I were talking on Friday night, and Roy said, well, you know, he says, I think there's something we can do at UAM. He said, you know, we fed the hungry on Thanksgiving, or excuse me, Misgiving Day. And he said, I think we can put together enough food to feed them for a month or 2 months. And UAM did that. That has happened as we speak right now. That's what a united African movement is. This is a very important term, a united African movement. That's what a united African movement can do. That struggle is not over. We are asking you to send checks and money orders payable to Mrs. Minnie Louise Weaver and to send them in care of Inner City Broadcasting, 801 2nd Avenue, New York, New York, 10017, Suite 1500. Or you can telephone them at 212-878-1760. Now, all other items, and we're talking about, and I want to emphasize this to you, any other items, any amount of money. It's not like $1 doesn't mean anything. It's not like $5 doesn't mean anything. It's not like a toy or a piece of clothing doesn't mean something. Everything means something in this situation. You can send them to, again, 801 2nd Avenue or telephone at 212-878-1760. Now, all these various items we'd like to see go to the Allen Neighborhood Service Agency Multi-Purpose Center. That is the Allen Neighborhood Service Agency Multi-Purpose Center at 114-02 Guy Brewer Boulevard, corner of Linden Boulevard and Guy Brewer Boulevard. And there's another number that you can call if you have items that you'd like to give to the family. That number is 718-658-9213. We have declared it African Family Month inside of the GBE for the month of December, and we certainly have the opportunity of showing what a united African family can do in this particular situation. So we certainly appreciate, again, everything that you brothers and sisters can do. Just think about it. If all of us in this room make a decision to do something, then the family has no problem. That's what Adam Clayton Powell meant when he said the power is in your hands. You just got to use the power. Well, we are here to acknowledge a brother who has become many things. He has become an honored elder. He has become a friend. And he has become a godfather to many of us. We understand the true meaning of what the godfather is in relationship to this brother. And all of us probably have a story about how we came to know him and to really hold on to that very special place that he occupies in our hearts. I've developed a relationship with him that now is hitting 13 years, I realized today. And it's funny because, see, some of those years, he didn't know, right? He didn't know me at all. I was in a position in 1978 where I had a friend who was a young intern I was working with. He kept saying, you got to check out this guy, Jock Hannon. Dr. Ben's name has been crucified by more people probably than anybody in the Afrocentric movement. But he said, you got to check out this guy, Jock Hannon. He kept telling me about this, right? So one day I went to the African Street Festival, and Dr. Curtis Alexander was selling some tapes. I hope Dr. Ben was getting some of those royalties. We have to double check again. We've been talking about this royalty issue, and it's a real issue for us. But anyway, I saw this tape, and it was Dr. Ben talking about Black Man of the Nile and his family or something. And so I said, well, that's that guy young brother was telling me about. Give me that tape. Since 1978, I took the tape. Finally, it was time to go home, and I was dropping some people off, and I popped the tape in the machine, and I was going to drive and listen to Dr. Ben, you know. I start driving, and, you know, these thoughts start coming through, and I had to pull over to the side. This is honest God's truth. I pulled over to the side of the road, and the people in the car were still talking. And at one point, I guess they figured, why did he stop the car? Because I was listening. At that point, I had a education in the context of African-American history. I mean, I kind of put together what had occurred here, what we had done on these shores. But only a little bit about Ghana, Songhai, and Mali and the like, and certainly nothing about Egypt at all. So I'm listening to Dr. Ben, and Dr. Ben is taking you through Ethiopia, and he's taking you into Egypt, and he's giving you the reality that this is your story, not their story. And as this happened for me, I went through a transformation. I was never the same after hearing this one tape. One tape, I was never the same. I listened to it over and over and over again. And by 1979, and he doesn't know this, I made up my mind. I said, I'm going to meet Dr. Ben. Now, I was on another radio station, as a matter of fact, the one that some of our guests actually are broadcast on, WWRL. And I said, I'm going to meet Dr. Ben. It became a mission for me. You know, somebody might be in entertainment, they say, I got to meet, Stevie, or I got to meet somebody. I mean, it's someone who you just have been blown away by. So I said, one day, I'm going to meet this brother, one day. And I started writing something that was inspired by the work that he did. And you heard some of it tonight. The Crown was inspired by Dr. Ben. That's who inspired The Crown. That's what those lyrics are all about. Once upon a time in Al-Kabul lived kings and queens who looked like you. It was a land of sun with a golden shine, a place that once was yours and mine, home of many great dynasties who created science and astronomy, where the Romans came to study math and the Greeks found out about the path. Now, in case you wonder what else they did, these Akabulans created the pyramids, and before Napoleon could even blink, in Akabu there stood a giant sphinx. Some say they came from outer space, but they are the beginning of the human race. If you know the place they can be found, then you may be the one who can wear the crown. That's Dr. Ben's work. That's the impact that it had on me. And to show you how this thing has been working, because all of us had to be connected in some lifetimes beyond this one. When I finally decided and had this thing in some shape that I was going to go into the studio, I was walking out of the door on my way to the recording session. The phone rings, and it's Stevie Wonder. Now, I'd written some things with Stevie before. He says, where you going? I said, man, I'm on my way to the studio. I'm running late. I'll call you when I get back. He said, no. What, you running to do what? I said, something called The Crown, but I got to run to the studio. He said, no. Wait. Play a little bit of it for me. So I played about 60 seconds, and I heard him start screaming through the phone. I said, what's wrong? Is it too loud? He said, no. Cancel your studio date. Nobody can do the music for what that is but me. I'm booking you on the next flight. Come to Los Angeles and do that. And Stevie works at a different speed, though. So it was 2 or 3 years in the process. I kid you not. But in the meantime, he put me up in a house in Los Angeles, and this is all, again, from what happened hearing this tape in 1978. He put me in a house, and I went through this thing of recreating the tune in this house. And I mean, I couldn't figure out, I said, man, this house is deep, it's got a vibe. So one day, a real estate guy comes by. This is in the old Hollywood Hills, okay, in Los Angeles. Real estate guy came by, and he was showing people the neighborhood, and he was talking about the landmarks, and he stopped by this particular house, which, I mean, I occupied myself and my family. No one else is there. This is an estate. You got to pull up, and you got to hit the gate, and the whole thing. And so he said, and yes, this was Paul Robeson's home, and da-da-da-da-da. I said, excuse me? He said, this is Paul Robeson's home. This is where Paul Robeson lived in Hollywood. Steve had bought Paul Robeson's house. I was the first person ever to live in that house, ever to create in that house, ever to write in that house. And what it did was it transformed the work. It took the work and me somewhere else. It put us on a different kind of level, a different kind of communications concept. And from that, we went on with that particular piece and wound up performing it literally around the world. England, Germany, France, Belgium, Switzerland, everywhere you can name, #1 record. Do you know the place that we had the hardest time getting the record played? The USA. The USA. Now, you have to imagine, I'm in Stuttgart, Germany, in front of 10,000 Germans, telling them about African history. But I guess they needed to hear it. And they did. And France and everywhere else. But it told me something. There was a chilling remark that I heard at the time that gave me the really clear understanding of what was happening in the media. And I don't mean white people's media or white folks' media as it was operating at the time. This was black media, where a program director in the Midwest area and in the Southwest, and we were played in some areas in America. I don't want to say, for those brothers who did do that they didn't do it. But there were 2 programmers in key markets who said they couldn't play the record because it was too positive. Now, I want you to understand what I'm saying, because when the message came back to me, I said, well, excuse me, what do you mean too positive? How can a song be too positive? Well, these particular individuals who were programming stations oriented towards our community felt that that kind of thought was too uplifting a message for his audience to hear in the midst of what? In the midst of what? Because remember now, your children, our children were listening and are listening every day. So whatever else he was programming, he felt comfortable with, but not with something that seemed so positive, which would lead me to conclude that he was programming something that was negative and was comfortable with what he was programming. And they represented a certain group of programmers who are around to this day, who do not understand the importance of our story versus his story. They are there today. They are programming the radio stations. They are programming all kinds of musical ideas that ultimately are putting our youth in a position where they are not prepared to walk into the 21st century as proud African people. That is what we are seeing right now. So the work of Dr. Ben, the work of Dr. Clark, and these giants becomes all the more important. What you saw on the video, I know for some people in here, is hard to digest. It's hard to digest. When you look at the cross and you think that the cross is it, and you don't know that the cross came from the Ankh. There's a shift that has to go down. I saw the shift take place one afternoon. I did a lecture in a church, and when I finished, the minister got up and he was talking, and as he was talking, I was sitting almost to the side like this, and when I looked up, I saw a white Jesus staring down at the congregation as the minister spoke about liberation and what we had to do as a people and so forth and so on. And I said, wait a minute. How can he possibly actually be standing here in front of an African people with a white Jesus in back of him? Now you got to understand, I just left Europe where I saw the Europeans bowing to the Black Madonna. You gotta get what this is about. I mean, you got popes who going into their private chapels praying to a black woman because they understand what heaven is, who God is, and what the origin of civilization is based on. It's based on African people. So when we talk about the work that these brothers are doing, we got some serious business to do. Very serious business to do. And I saw something in 1985, because Doc didn't just keep telling me this. By the time I got on LIB, and boy, I mean, LIB was my sneak attack. People didn't know, because I said, I'm going to get him now, boy. I said, Dr. Clark, Dr. Ben, ooh, this is going to be deep now. And I was putting them on there as fast as I could get them on. They'd be in the studio before the program was over. I said, well, can you come back on such and such a day? Because brothers and sisters, I was learning too. I was growing with you. It's a growth process that we were going through. And finally, when Doc said to me, listen, you're going to Kemet. You're going to Egypt. 1985, I went. I had so much technology with me, you don't even want to know. Everybody knows I travel with a laptop. I don't go nowhere without the laptop computer. That's real. Okay, at the same time, man, I had like the video machines and I had the camera. Man, it's like, I looked like I came from outer space. It was like one of those kind of things. And I walked into Kemet, every piece of equipment that I had broke down. One by one. Every single piece of equipment that I had just went out. I said, what is this? What's the more? And then finally someone tried to take a picture of me with someone, and the picture didn't come out 3 times. So I said, okay, I guess I'm supposed to be getting into something else, because I went on a historical, cultural mission. I was going to document the history like it hadn't been documented by this brother, right? Okay? But you know what happened, brothers and sisters? Spiritual transformation. I got in touch with God in a whole different way that had never happened in my life. And I've been on the Himalayas. I've done that trip. Okay? I got in touch with God in a whole other kind of African way, and in a way that opened up my soul to some new consciousness that I had never had. I didn't expect it. I wasn't prepared for it. I didn't know where it was coming from. Because I was trying to be polite. People were saying, and see the temple, and I was, because there was something going through me, something had happened. When I came back, it kept happening. Moved me all the way to the point where my name Imhotep I had in 1980. I just was afraid to use it. That was the African name that I chose in 1980. I was afraid. I said, how people gonna respond to Imhotep? Your name is Gary Bird. Imhotep. What is this now? Right? What the ratings people gonna say? And lo and behold, ultimately by 1990, there was nothing I could do, because spiritually, what I felt had occurred to me on that trip, and I couldn't shake that off. There was nothing I could do to get that off of me. And by 1990, when I accepted that name, the next thing I know, they gave me this show live at the Apollo. Just like that. And I didn't really realize what that was until a brother stood up in the theater one day and said, "This temple." And when he was talking about this temple. They were in the Apollo, and he was talking about this temple. And there we go again. We get fooled by that Greek thing. See, the Greek be naming stuff Apollo. And the stuff comes from Kemet. It comes from Africa. The whole pantheon of Greek mythology is based on the reality created by Africans and their understanding of the cosmogony of the universe. All the Greeks did was copy it. And they didn't copy it that well, frankly. So I think by 1991, when I went to Kemet for the second time with Dr. Ben, I thought I had it down. And when I went to Kemet, I saw this man face the most serious challenge of his life. An attempt was made to destroy Dr. Ben in Egypt. And I want you all to understand, I am not talking in a figurative sense. That's not like a symbolic language. I'm not trying to codify it and it means something else. They were attempting to destroy Dr. Ben. When we got to Kemet and we saw Doc, he had just come out of the hospital and he was standing there to meet us when we arrived. And Doc kind of told us some of what was going on. We still never got the picture. I didn't get it completely until Doc gave me the translations of those articles that they wrote. 7 long, in-depth articles designed to not only create a character assassination on Dr. Ben, but to create an atmosphere where some mad person, some completely out fanatic would wind up actually killing Dr. Ben. I am not joking. This is real. This is what happened. They constructed the idea that they would give the impression that Dr. Ben was, quote now, a mysterious Jew who was there in Egypt to create a rebellion among the Nubian people to take over all of Egypt, and in this instance to do it in the same manner that Israel occupies the stolen lands that it has today. They printed this information in Egypt. And that's what Dr. Ben was dealing with every day. They wanted to see this man dead. A group of people who feared him. Why did they fear him? Because he's dangerous. I don't mean the kind of dangerous that Michael Jackson is talking about. That's a different thing here. Michael's dangerous is only dangerous to himself. But they feared Doc because he is a dangerous person. He's dangerous for a lot of reasons. Dr. Ben has twisted the slave game around. You know how we're in the middle of right now the fall of global white supremacy? Do y'all realize that? That's what's happening. That's what's going on. I heard Bob Grant on Hate Radio today. Bob Grant was admitting it. He said, it's over for us. I said, you're right, brother. You're right. But the fact of the matter is that there are people who understand this and they're going to try to do everything they can to stop it. These people aren't going down without a fight. So Dr. Ben is one of those people who understood the slave game. You know, the we sick boss game. We sick boss? Global white supremacy down. We sick? Brother Malcolm said it very well. The field Negro was saying, die, please, immediately. Can I put something in your food to help you? Go, quickly. When you saw Newsweek magazine do its issue on Afrocentrism, Newsweek refused to acknowledge Dr. Ben or Dr. Clark. And they're talking about Afrocentrism. Dr. Ben has been going to Egypt since before the World War II that you're hearing so much about this week. They refused to put his name. Instead, they put Martin Bernal. Is that this guy's name? Martin Bernal? Martin Bernal was a student who sat in Dr. Ben's classes. Okay? He sat at his feet. Martin Bernal. But Martin Bernal is certainly now the expert on Egyptology. Why do they do this again? Because they see this man as being dangerous. But it's a different kind of dangerous. See, what Dr. Ben has done here in America, in the Caribbean, across the continent of Africa, really around the world, is that he's begun to raise our consciousness so we begin to understand who we really are. This is the secret to what's happening. If I was white people, I wouldn't want you to know who you are either. I wouldn't. If I did to you what white people did to you, I wouldn't want you to wake up. Because what you're going to be when you wake up, you're going to be dangerous. And that's why he's dangerous. And that's why Dr. Clark is dangerous. Now, when we go to Kemet now, we see the same kind of love for Dr. Ben, ironically, in Egypt, and especially among the Nubians that we see here. As a matter of fact, I've reached a point where I wouldn't be surprised if I walked into the desert of Egypt one summer or something and saw Dr. Ben's face as a sphinx or something. I'm trying to tell you, I wouldn't be surprised at this point because the love is that deep and it's that strong. But brothers and sisters, we cannot stand around and let our heroes be attacked. We cannot wait for it to happen and always have to react to it. And you know what it is. Now, if you know you're under attack, you build a fortress. If you know you're under attack, you build up your reserves. If you know you're under attack, you protect your generals, you protect your priests, you protect your thinkers from attack because they are the mind, body, and spirit of your forces. You understand that and you protect them because they have to be protected. You see, they raise your consciousness so that you recognize that there is something to fight for. And they give you what you need to fight with. We are a people of ma'at, a people of balance and justice. White people have more to fear from themselves than they have to fear from us, because they're the ones who are going to go crazy when this population shift takes place. That's going to be their problem. We have to do nothing to white people. They will go nuts. Have no fear about that. But you see, when you think about what we've asked for, we've never really asked for anything except justice. And for that to mean more than just us. I want to dedicate this tonight to Dr. Ben and to all that he stands for fighting here in the diaspora and throughout Africa. You see, we are people with a job to do. Struggle to us is nothing new. His story running through our minds with images of every kind. Cowboys and Indians, we all rooted for them to win. Wars, we were proud to fight, but they never did try to treat us right. Hair had to be like theirs, thin nose, blue eyes, and oh so fair. School where there was no books with people who looked like you look. Time and time again, there were those who tried to do us in, but survive we did. And here we are. We had to come from very far. And now we say that this must cease. With no justice, there is no peace. You see, no other people around the world have had their families stolen, hurled across the land and over the sea, the branches of our family tree. We too have a Holocaust, and millions strong were killed and lost. They didn't come by invitation. They were brought here to build the nation. We slaved and we worked this land. I'm talking about the African, the ones their ships went out to raid, the ones Uncle Sam never paid. Now we, the children of the sun, are the new generation under the gun. We watch today on TV news as groups of angry Hasidic Jews storm into a police station, suffer no kind of retaliation. Put a single black man in that situation and he'd be dead by assassination. No justice, no peace. Racism must cease. Now, today we look at a host of crimes that have become part of our times. A man dead in Howard Beach, but murder beyond the jury's reach. A boy killed in Bensonhurst, but wait, you have not heard the worst. Police shoot a grandmother down, yet judges have no guilty found. Picture young Larry Davis with the crooked cops we all know hate us. They pretend they're white as snow while selling guns and dealing blow. No justice, no peace. Racism must cease. Now, Central Park after dark, a woman beaten, they say raped. Group of black boys framed because the police need escape. DNA, the ultimate test, fails to find a link. This jogger has no memory, and the case begins to stink. Scottsboro boys all over again is what some people say. Reverend Al said trial by media, they tried to put him away. Patricia Mealy's name and image are carefully cloaked and hid, but they went after Tawana Brawley, a Maddox and Mason protected kid. And up in Boston sits a brother, a victim of the undercover, confessing a crime he didn't do. Could Central Park be the same thing too? No justice, we say, no peace. Now, the St. John's case was a matter of race. The bland jury heard the facts: abduction, sodomy, it was gang rape, but the press never said wolf pack. A black woman's word meant nothing. All of them must be sex toys. That's the message of the verdict in black and white. Boys will be boys. We say no justice, no peace. Racism must cease. No justice, no peace. Thanks to Dr. Ben, we'll take our education to the streets. Thank you, Amos.
Don't sit down now.
No. And to present her properly this evening, we're going to ask one of the UAM members, Janet Baggett, to come forward.
Hotep sisters and brothers, this evening is significant because we're honoring Dr. Ben, our historian. When we talk of the African family, we always talk of the African family in a holistic sense. We always include our mothers, our fathers, our aunts, the extended family. Tonight, United African Movement would like to present to Dr. Ben's wife, Sister Gertrude Ben Yakanen, a bouquet. Would she please step forward, Sister Gertrude? Are you here? Special thanks to Sister Gertrude for being so supportive in lending us Dr. Ben. The women of the United African Movement, please give them a hand. And would all United African Movement women please stand? We thank you. We thank you, Sister Gertrude. We thank you for lending Dr. Ben to us and being so supportive of Dr. Ben and his work. Because as we know, without the support of his wife and his family, it would not have been so possible. And that's very important. We as women play a vital role.
Right.
Brother Roy has asked me, he forgot to mention 2 of our very, very hard-working members. Special thanks to Brother Najee Bundy, who was responsible for printing those beautiful programs. We thank him. And also, Brother Gerald Pryor. You know, this would not have been possible without many supportive people behind the scenes. We thank you very much. Thank you again.
Special.
We have another presentation, and I wasn't sure exactly what the term panegyric, I hope I didn't mispronounce it, is. I've just been enlightened by Brother Alton Maddox. It is when one pays tribute to another. We have a brother who is here with us this evening who, as Dr. Ben was targeted in Egypt, has been targeted here in the United States, and specifically here in New York City. He is a man who has attempted to speak truth to power, which is very, very important for all our communities. And he has been attacked for it, as so many black men and women before him have been attacked when they have stood up and spoken their truth, our truth. Let us welcome Dr. Leonard Jeffries. By the way, if Elliot Morgan is here, he might want to leave about now.
Okay. Okay.
Hotep, brothers and sisters. As you know, we've been in the middle of a very serious moment in our history. And I don't want to take any responsibility for it. All of the responsibility and the reason for it all and the causes for it all and the people who are blamed for it all are right here, Dr. Ben and Dr. Clark. I don't know what the people are talking about in terms of a speech up in Albany. Have they ever heard any one of Dr. Clark or Dr. Ben's presentation? I mean, it's on the international airways. It's been on Gil Noble's show. Has they ever heard Dr. Ben and Dr. Clark on Gil Noble's Like It Is program? Well, let's not talk about the Imhotep Gary Bird's show in terms of burning up the airways. Sometimes our programs have been so strong that they actually cut us off the airways. Imhotep doesn't know that he's been cut off the airwaves sometime because the program was, he said it was some mechanical failure. No. The word was just too hot. But, and to be very serious, I think we cannot at any time not fail to honor these brothers. We're blessed to have had in our lifetime this particular strength and spirit force with us. These are the pillars that I stand on. I'm not standing by myself. I'm not standing for myself. It's their scholarship and their leadership that has directed me. It's not a PhD or a BBD from Columbia University. None of that gives me the strength, the courage to stand up for the truth of who and what we are as African peoples. It has come directly out of their contribution. Dr. Clark brought forth for us, those of us who were moving into African studies in the early 60s, that there's an African worldview, an African standard, an African perspective. And he hammered this into us. I'm talking about a whole generations of us, the James Turners, the Asa Hilliards, the whole host of us, so that when the storm broke in 68, 69, around a black studies movement, there were young people there ready to take upon their shoulders the challenge of structuring black studies programs. We had no schooling in this at Columbia University or Cornell University or Northwestern University or Harvard University. The schooling for structuring black studies programs comes directly out of sitting at the feet of Dr. Clark and Dr. Ben. So you have to understand what we stand on. There was no blueprint in any books written by white folks. It came directly out of the blueprint that they obtained from sitting at the feet of the teachings of Marcus Garvey and Schomburg and Willis Huggins and others in that Harlem school that they were a part of. And so we structured the black studies movements inspired by their teachings, and then we were able to put in place a process that opened up the eyes of many of our people. We were focusing on an African center, but we needed serious scholarship and research to decode what Africa really was. An important piece was missing. Many of us, although we were enamored with Africa, Africa was a part of our fiber. Africa meant everything to us. We went to Africa. My wife and I we just spent our 27th anniversary Friday. But when we got married, that's a serious African ball and chain, 27 years. But when we got married, we immediately went to Africa for 2 years. That was our honeymoon, 2 years in Africa doing the PhD work. But although Africa was a part of us, there was a piece missing. And in spite of the strength of Dr. Clark and his teachings, and even though he had directed us to the Nile, and he had wedded us with scholars like Dr. Cheikh Anta Diop, and we knew the significance of the Nile Valley. I met Dr. Diop through Dr. Clark in 1971, met him again in 72. 73, all of us went to Addis Ababa with the leading Africanists from around the world, and it was at that point that Dr. Turner and myself and others fought for Dr. Clark to be raised up as the leading Africanist in America, representing all Africanists, white and black. So we were wedded to this struggle. But the piece about the Nile did not come into the place that it needed to be until the old man of the Nile from 135th Street, across from Harlem Hospital, down the street from Pam Pam, until he brought Africa home to us in the Nile, and he took a brick and crashed it up beside our heads, and we woke up to the significance of the Nile. Because you need to understand this. Even though we were in Africa, even though we knew the Nile was a part of Africa, we still felt it was the Arab world. We still felt somehow that it was not us. You have to understand the psychology that we went through. True people, fully African as they thought they could be, still did not taste the Nile. It did not shake within every fiber of our body until Mr. Pam Pam came with his brick. And over the last 10 to 15 years, the Nile has been cemented with all of Africa and Africa's peoples and Africa's traditions. And because of that, we are in this storm. They didn't care if we were down in the Congo. They didn't care if we were helping with liberation movements in South Africa or Zambia. They didn't care if we got up money to help the Patriotic Front. They didn't care if we were in Mali and Ghana. What they cared about was this Nile Valley. Once we put the Nile to our knowledge and understanding, we had the whole ball of wax. We knew, for example, that Africans were the mother and father of the human family. Mother and father of the human family. Without any question, the scientific evidence is there that there is one human race, and that human race is African. Everything else is a mutation off of African gene. We knew there were monuments of enormous proportion in the Nile, the pyramids and all the rest of that, the temples, the Ephesus University Temple of Luxor, the great temple complex of Karnak. But we did not know that it was alive and well, that those values, those institutions, that spirit force, the power that they represent were alive and well. Dr. Ben had to translate that for us. It was not just a history lesson, it was a lesson in empowerment. It was a lesson in spiritual regeneration. It was a lesson in transformation. And I saw it work. I went many times over the last 10 years with Dr. Ben, got a beating every time because he always beats you. You have to expect a beating. He never lets you feel comfortable. Even when you're in the Nile, relaxing, you're going to get a beating, etc. But I have seen the resurrective power. One of our greatest giants, one of our tallest trees in our forest, inspired by Malcolm and a whole host of other great people, Gil Noble, went to the Nile at a low point in his career when ABC had said, you are not even worthy of us putting a team together for you to go to the Nile, to film 1,000 Africans going to the Nile when we went in '87. Gil was at a low point of his career. Once he got into the Nile, he was transformed. He was given new life. He was holding on to temples. He was kissing monuments. He was putting his hands on bricks. He was going in and out of the pyramids. Do you understand? A spiritual as well as intellectual transformation. So they've left an enormous legacy for us. And let's see whether we can put it in a pyramidal frame, and then I'm going to step in the wind. When you see that pyramid, and Dr. J has taken from Dr. Ben the pyramids, but I've tried to put it in an operative scientific and intellectual process. Take the pyramids as a formation, and it has polarities. One polarity we call the thesis, the other polarity called the antithesis. Dr. Ben had said there's an African concept of the law of opposites. And so that's what we try to put into place when we talk about the duality polarity of the pyramidal frame of reference. But as you work with the duality around one polarity and the duality around the other polarity, and you synthesize them, you go to the top of the pyramid. Going to the top of the pyramid, you move into your God consciousness. Going to the top of the pyramid, you move into critical thinking. Going to the top of the pyramid, you move into your mind. And we've got to make this concept work for us. So how can we take this enormous knowledge that is a part of us, that these brothers have given us, and the people whose shoulders they stand on have given us, how do we make this work for us? And let's see if we can see how it can work. These brothers are not just role models. That's one polarity. That's the thesis. What they have done, their actions, we need to emulate. They are role models. But that's just one peg of the pillars that we need. We have to see at the other polarity what we call, and Wade Nobles call, mind modeling. You see, you have to go beyond their actions. You have to go to say, what produced these minds? What gave them the mental toughness to stand against all odds, all type of scholarship, including Negro scholarship that's still whimpering here and there through Snowden and others? What gave them the strength? What gave Dr. Ben the strength to stand in the Nile by himself, crying and pleading out for us for 50 years, 40 years before we woke up? What mental toughness allowed him to generate that type of force and power? What allowed a Dr. Clark to come up from the South, not going to Columbia, not going to Yale, but going through the school of black education, African education, to develop a mind greater than any of us PhDs? So you got to have the mind model in place with the role model. The mind model deals with thinking, mental toughness, the ability to go beyond that which is even your capacity. That's what these brothers have done. At 70 plus, they should not even be standing here doing what they're doing, but they're still doing it. Dr. Clark lost his sight and said to us that he gained insight when he lost his physical sight. Do you understand what the man is talking about? That's mental toughness. But that which they have left us is not just role modeling around their actions, standing for truth and Africanness, and mind modeling in terms of their thinking, standing against all odds, and winning that victory. But the polarity between these two poles takes you to the zenith, to godliness, to the spirit model. So you got role modeling, mind modeling that leads into the zenith, which is spirit modeling. You have to ask yourself, what sense of mission allows these brothers never to take the low road, never to stop, never to bow down, never to scrape, never to not give? What sense of mission created this force and power in them? That's godliness. That's understanding that you are God and you have God force within you. The sense of mission that they have is what we've got to translate. So once you put role modeling, action in place, once you put mind modeling, thinking, serious thinking in place, once you put spirit modeling, developing a sense of godliness, that you are God's children, that you are God's chosen, then you have that which it takes to transform us as African peoples to move into a meaningful future. Thank you very much. I haven't had much time to worry about me because we've been too busy raising the African truth. And I just want to say that, true to Dr. Ben and Dr. Clark, we've been maintaining our path of truth. Wherever we've gone, we've spoken our word. And our response has been enormous. The response from the churches has been unbelievable. Even the Holy Ghost churches, where we went to on Friday, Saturday, even the holiness churches, Bishop Sexton and Bishop Owens. Bishop Owens has said that we understand what Jeffries is doing. He is fighting that fight that we've had to fight in Alabama, had to fight in Mississippi, had to fight in Chicago. We understand his strength. He is of such integrity and such strength, we need him in the White House instead of Bush. Now, this is coming from the Holy Ghost people. The fraternities, the sororities have joined the fray, dropped all of that. And we tell them, look, you're African before you're Greek. And they say, we understand that. So there's a consciousness. And of course, our broadcasting wonders. I mean, when Reverend Del Shields said he's going to have Dr. Ben on, and he's going to have this, and he's going to have that, he has to understand he's going to have a tussle on that airways. And Dr. Ben ain't going to be as nice as I am, you know. But Reverend Del Shields is strong, and as a brother, he's going to welcome Dr. Ben as a brother, and they're going to burn up the airways. You see? Going to burn it up. And Sister Donna is there to make sure that they act as African gentlemen to each other. And our female principal keeping it together. But we do have to make sure that as a family we stay together. You have to be prepared to make the phone calls to the governor, to the chancellor of the education system. You have to call the president of City College and say, stand up as an African man. We know it's hard for you, but stand up as an African man. Morgenthau is preparing an indictment because if they can't get you one way, they're going to try to get you another. And there's no need for us to be threatening our people. We don't threaten black youngsters. We resurrect them. We save them. They're our future. They're our salvation. If we haven't threatened those white folks who have been trying to do us in, why would we threaten the black youngster? But they're going to come at us with our own. We have to expect that. So there will be petitions and other things we want you to join us in. But don't worry, Dr. J ain't stepping down, ain't bowing, and he ain't scraping. And he's not apologizing. Now let me leave this one thing with you. A lot of the people attacking us have created a smokescreen. It never was about Jewish, anti-Semitism or anything. It's always been about truth. And they've created this smokescreen. But now they got the tiger by the tail, or the Black Panther by the tail, and they don't know how to let it loose. When we laid out our information, when we go to all these colleges, we went to 10 major colleges over the last 2 weeks, and most of the audiences have been white, many of them Jewish, and those youngsters, once they hear the truth, they come over to our side. How can we work together with black folk? Okay. Doug Hyken was at Queens College. He said he went to the library to check out the books that I mentioned, and at first he said, if this was a Jeffries 3 months ago, then I'm with him. But after he thought about it and checked the things out, now he says that there's nothing in the books that would indict the Jewish community along with others in terms of enslavement. So I've got to help him out. Since he has a problem reading, I have to help him out. And see, that's my role as a teacher, help him out. And I'm going to help you all out too, because you all got problems doing this research yourself. Most of the books that I will name, and I'll probably either use the program Drive Time or Gary Bird to announce it, there are 10 books, okay, that I had told you which deal with the Jews and enslavement. I looked at 6 of those books last night. 6 of them, including the grandees, including the Jews of Amsterdam in the 17th and 18th centuries, including Eric Williams from Columbus to Castro. 6 of these books, if you open them, including the Jews of the South, if you open them up to page 114, 114, it opens up automatically to the tales of their enslavement of African peoples. Open up page 114. Don't even look in the index. Just open up page 114. I don't know how the good Lord prepared this for me, but he sure did prepare it for me. I'm going to call up Doug Hyken and the rest of them. Tell them, open up these books to page 114, and there you is with the enslavement process all wrapped around y'all. The truth shall set us free, brothers and sisters. Continue to rise, continue to struggle, continue to walk forth as Africans.
Okay, we'll get that in synchronization in this rhythm. Watch. Yeah, whoa, yeah, whoa, yeah, whoa, yeah, whoa. All right, I think they're getting ready, Dr. Clark. I truly believe in the call and response. I don't like to always sing alone. I like you to sing with me. This song was written for Maurice Bishop. So happened that October 19th, 1983, I was on the west bank of the Nile, or approximately getting ready to approach the west bank of the Nile at Khartoum. Where were we, Dr. Ben? We were at Wa'at. And no, not that morning. I'll never forget that morning. That was the morning Maurice Bishop was murdered. And Dr. Ben had heard it over his radio, and he called me over knowing that I was a fan of Maurice Bishop, who I had fortunately met through Hunter College, my association with Dr. Clark at that time, when Maurice Bishop came to see and speak to us in June of that same year. And subsequently, I had just lived in West Africa for the first 4 months of 1983. So I was 22 at the time. So 22 was an awesome year for me. And it was also a lesson in growth. This song is entitled Fighters Mourn Too. Now, I know many of y'all are from Brooklyn, and before I get ready to sing the song, y'all might start going in the yeah, yeah, whoa, whoa. Come in when I say so, all right? This is dedicated to the fighter, warrior spirit in us all. Fighters mourn too. Yes, they mourn like me and you. Fighters mourn too. Oh, they mourn like me and you. And I should know, 'cause I'm a fighter. I've been on the earth long enough to know freedom fighters come and freedom fighters go. And I wrote this song to help us in some way. I want my people to grow stronger every day. And I should know, 'cause I'm a fighter. Yes, I have been on the earth long enough to see the possibility of what true freedom can bring. And our leaders, yes, they've left us with a spark, but it's up to every man and woman to make their mark. and I should know, 'cause I'm a fighter. If you're ready now, sing it with me. Let's go. Fighters mourn too, yeah, whoa. Well, they mourn like me and you, yeah, whoa. Well, fighters mourn too, yeah, whoa. Well, they mourn like me and you, yeah, whoa. I should know, yeah, whoa. I am a fighter, yeah, whoa. Maurice Bishop mourn too, yeah, whoa. Yes, he mourn like me and you, yeah, whoa. Say Marcus Garvey mourn too, yeah, whoa. Well, they mourn like me and you, yeah, whoa. I should know, yeah, whoa. I am a fighter, so yeah, whoa, yeah. Asante wa mourn too, yeah, whoa. Well, she mourn like me and you, yeah, whoa. Queen Hatshepsut, she mourn too, yeah, whoa. Well, they mourn like me and you, yeah, whoa. I should know, yeah, whoa. I am a fighter, yeah, whoa. Well, I've been on the earth, 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 I've been on the earth long enough to see all the possibility of what true freedom can bring. And our leaders, yes, they left us with a spark, but it's up to every man and woman to make their mark. And I should know, yes, Lord, 'cause I'm a fighter. And we really should know if we are fighters. Yeah, whoa, yeah, whoa. Don't clap. Yeah, whoa, yeah. Whoa. Repeat after. Don't clap. You know, you tell the black people not to clap, and the white people clap. Thank you. Thank you for your sincere clap. You know, you tell the black people not to clap, but then they clap. Repeat after me. I have 2 more songs, and I've done my share for now. And please buy my records when they come out. Look for me. Repeat after me. Look for me in the whirlwind or the storm. Look for me all around you. For with God's grace, I shall come again and bring with me countless millions of black slaves who have died in America and in the West Indies and millions in Africa. We will aid you in your fight for liberty, for freedom, for life. Those are the words of Marcus Garvey. This is the music of Ralph Carter. Look for me in the whirlwind or the storm. Look for me all around you, for with God's grace, I shall come again and bring with me countless millions of black slaves who have died in America and in the West Indies and millions in Africa to aid you in your fight for liberty, freedom, and life. So look for me in the whirlwind or the storm. Got to look for me all around you, for with God's grace, I shall come again and bring with me countless millions of black slaves who have died in America, in the West Indies. They killed millions in Africa. We will aid you in your fight for liberty, freedom, and life. Hum it with me. So look for me in the whirlwind or the storm. Please look for me all around you. For with God's grace, Marcus Garvey will come again and bring with him countless millions of black slaves who have died, oh Lord, in America, oh, in the West Indies, and millions in Africa. We will aid you in your fight for liberty, freedom, and life, who have died in America and in the West Indies, and millions in Africa, to aid you in your fight for liberty, freedom, and life. This song is dedicated to young people because it comes out of an experience of working with young people, having the opportunity to teach and work among teachers, and fortunately have an opportunity to give back in the form of teaching. Children continue to inspire me, as well as adults and heroes and sheroes who are here and who are not here. It be about love, it be about peace. Be about you and it be about me. Be about African people living our lives together, oh, yes. Be about the young, it be about the old. Be about nation building, I am told. Be about Africa. We are the people of the first world, not the second world, surely not the third world. We are the people of the first world, and civilizations, hit it, be about love, it be about peace, be about you and it be about me. Be about African people living our lives together, oh yes. Be about the young, be about the old. It be about nation building, I am told. Be about Africa, we are the people of the first world. So listen to us, It'd be about Akhenaten, it'd be about Imhotep, it'd be about Nefertiti and the pharaohs, be about African people living our lives together, oh yes. Be about Shaka, be about Nzinga, be about Eskia and the Asantewaa. Be about African people living our lives together, oh yes. Be about Frederick, be about Booker, be about Harriet and Sojourner. Be about African people living our lives together, oh yes. It'd be about Malcolm, be about Martin, it'd be about Elijah, Marcus, W.E.B. Be about Africa. We are the people of the first world, and we will be free. It'd be about Umoja, Kuji Jakalia, be about Ujima and Ujama, be about Nia, Kuumba and Imani, the principles of Kwanzaa. Be about our mothers, be about our fathers, be about our sisters and our brothers, be about our families and to respect our elders. It'd be about love, it'd be about fighting racism and apartheid, be about fighting oppression and brutalization, be about African people living our lives together, oh yes. Be about no more drugs in our time, be about freeing our African minds, be about Africa. We are the people of the first world, so listen to us. Be about love, it'd be about peace, be about you and it'd be about me. Be about African people living our lives together, yes. Be about the young, be about the old, be about nation building, I am told. Be about Africa, be about Africa, be about Africa, Africa, Africa. Say be about Africa, say be about Africa, say be about Africa, Africa, Africa. Say be about Africa, be about Africa, be about Africa, Africa, Africa. Be about Africa. We are the people of the first world. Come go with us. Thank you, Dr. Benyekinen.
Be about Africa. Be about young and old. Beautiful. Again, another round of applause for Brother Ralph Carter. And now it is a time for us to be about everything about getting down to business. I'm going to introduce two reverends to you. And there'll be nothing else for me to say or anyone else to say, because when they two get on the mic together, it's like, that's it.
We got one other person that's going to be coming forward.
Another reverend?
No.
Oh. Okay. All right. First, I'd like to introduce my co-host for Drive Time Dialogue. How many people here listen to Drive Time Dialogue? Yeah! Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. Well, my co-host is Reverend Del Shields, and we're going to bring him up. Who, if you listen to Drive Time, you know I fight with him every single day. Don't I? But I love him.
I want to thank Sister Donna because I've got something over Mark and Imhotep because I have a young lady with me. They have to do it by themselves. I just would like to take a moment out really to give a nice round of applause to two men we owe a great deal to. When I came back from California, and I went back to my old station, which was WLIB, and they were so gracious and kind and allowed me to sit in and kind of get my chops back together, and sat in for them many times. And I think that Imhotep, Garvey Byrd, and Mark Riley really needs our applause. They deserve it. And I want you to know that we are brothers and we are friends because our owners sit down together. So if the two owners can sit down together, we can sit down together. And I don't mind when you come on RL and say, well, I just turned off Gary Byrd and I heard him say so-and-so. But we're in this together, and we thank you really for all the support that you have given us. Now I'm going to call upon a young man whom I have learned to love over a period of time. He has been very kind to refer to me as the bishop, and of course I'm not a bishop, I'm still a boy preacher, but as we used to say in show business, he really needs no introduction. Would you welcome Reverend Al Sharpton?
Justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! What do we want? Justice! What do we want? Justice! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! When do we want it? Now! When do we want it? Now! Hug the person next to you, tell them you love them because they're African. If the person you just hugged was not African, send them out in the rain. We're here tonight about serious business. Dr. Ben is a serious part of all of our lives. I don't know anyone other than Dr. Ben or Dr. Clark that would make all of us feel obligated to be here from all sides of this city, from all perspectives, because it really doesn't matter what your political ideology is. If you don't know who you are, you can't go nowhere if you don't know where you're coming from. And Dr. Ben pioneered and labored against our ignorance, against our self-doubt. And we don't come to give him an award, we come to recognize the award that he has been to us. His life has been a jewel to our life. In this dark tunnel of Babylon, he's been one of the lights that have helped us see our way through. So we don't come to do him a favor, we come to thank him for doing us a favor. And white folks don't have to recognize or praise our sages, our scholars. We must do that ourselves. And Dr. Ben is ours. And Dr. Ben taught us to be ourselves. So we're here tonight for a man that we shouldn't have to do a whole lot of preaching and begging in order for you to do what you're going to do. Because he has given all he can. He's given his life. You can't give more than that. The least we can do is show our love and show our commitment and show that we appreciate the life he's given. You can't equal with dollars the hours and the years and the struggle that he's gone through. Working with our people is difficult. There's no amount of money in the world that could pay you for working with us. I'm trying to work with Reverend Shields now. This is very difficult. But for Dr. Ben, I'm going to do the best I can. But in all seriousness, I think that we're at the point of the program that we all can show Dr. Ben that we're not just here for a nice night of rally and clapping and jacking ourselves up and souping ourselves up and going home and turning on our Arsenio Hall and forgetting everything we learned here tonight. We can express ourselves also by giving him a tremendous gift tonight. We spend money foolishly. Tonight we can spend it wisely. We buy sneakers for $180. We buy cars for $30,000 and ain't got nowhere to go. No, that's us. We buy brand new cars and ride around the same old block. But when somebody tells us to let us support and maintain the independence of a historical giant, we start trying to budget then and start looking for little bills. We should give as freely as we give to foolishness. Now, all of us claim to be Afrocentric, and all of us know that all of these bills got slave owners on them. So to really be Afrocentric tonight, I want you to give Dr. Ben all your slave owners. I mean, not a one leave. So you can go home totally African tonight without any slave owners in your pocket. I mean, Franklin watched all of them on slaves. So ain't no use in you telling me, Hotep, and you got the master in your pocket. Hand me the master, I'll give to Dr. Ben, and we'll all walk home African together. Let us raise serious money. Reverend Shields, where is Joe Bragg?
Let's go back.
From KISS Radio, Joe Bragg. Joe Bragg and Reverend Shields is going to help me raise the money. Joe, you just got back South Africa with the mayor. I know y'all raised some money for Dr. Ben while y'all was over there.
We sure did.
So you can put the mayor's money in there first.
He give me his check.
No, we ain't taking no checks from Dinky.
All the words have been said. You hear me every day trying to tell you what's right and what's wrong about our society. So I'm not going to even bore you with words because these two illustrious men have said it all. Let's get our money up here, open up your pocketbooks, and I'm starting out with one of those old dead presidents.
Yeah, that's right.
And let's everybody give all we can.
Now I'm going to start tonight, and I know that folk up here got a lot of money, but I'm the only one of these three ain't got a job. Because I work for y'all, and y'all know y'all don't pay nothing. But I'm going to start tonight with $100. I want 100 people to join me in $100 or more. Stand up first. Come on, I want Dr. Ben to see how much we love him. Who will join me with $100 or more? If it write out a check to Dr. Ben, Kristen Peterson, one of the backbones of the movement, giving $200. Come on, I need some more. 100 or more. 100 or more. Don't move unless you got some money now. All right, don't make no funny moves. I get nervous. Franklin Jackson, $100.
But you wasn't taking no check. This is one of those funny ones.
Dr. Leonard Jeffries, $100.
Sons of Africa.
Sons of Africa, $100. Eddie Rabble-Rouser Foster, $100. What's your name? Janice and Beverly, $100. The Reverend Baggett from Flatbush Avenue, $100. John Moore Funeral Home, $100. Sister Connor Charles, $100. Come on, there's some more hundreds in here. Come on, we need some more hundreds. If Dr. Ben was giving out a prayer cloth and lying, you'd be lined up now.
I want to make an announcement.
Just get this on. Come on, we need some more hundreds.
There's another one right here.
Here's another one.
Here you go.
Lorenzo Tyson, $100.
There you go.
Trinity Delivery Service delivered $100. Robert L. Campbell, $100. Darren W. Jackson, that ain't just, no, Darren W. Jackson, $100.
I want to give $100 as my contribution tonight. Last week, Dr. Ben took my Jesus from me, but I still love him.
You should have paid him more than that for taking that from me. $100. Robert Atterbury, $100.
We have a Nubian bride and groom that Dr. Ben married during the summer. For $100.
These are the couple, the Nubian bride and groom that Dr. Ben married this summer. Giving $100. Dr. Ben doing better than preachers. They still together. Ain't that wonderful? Catherine New, $100.
Students at York College gonna bring in $300.
Students at York College is bringing $300. Sam Adewumi, $100. Imhotep Gary Bird, $100. Any more hundreds? Come on. That's right.
That's right. There's a couple more back here.
If you don't feel like walking, put up your hand. We'll come to you. Thank you, brother. Gregory Hardy, $100. You that did not have 100, really don't have it. Raise your hand with 99. I'll lend you $1. All right, you that didn't have 100, 50. I want $50 for Dr. Ben, $50. I know it takes time, but we want to give him a beautiful gift tonight. Isn't that right? Yeah. Isn't that right? Yeah. How many of y'all want Dr. Ben to leave here with knowing how much we love him? Raise your hand.
Oh, everybody gonna do that.
All right, now take that same hand and go in your wallet and give me $50. Rise Company Production, $100.
Mr. Samuel of St. George, $100.
That's Samuel St. George. That's right, Rev. Walking, let's get it. Ann Ingram, $50. I need 50s.
Brother needs a basket up here because he's running over.
You got something to put in it? Send a basket up there and give it to her first because she got some money. Vida Scepter, $50. Queen Mother Franklin, give her a big hand. Whatever you got is all right with us.
Will you tell them that this lady gave me this to bring to this tonight?
Mrs. Fanny Clark sent this by Mother Franklin. She couldn't be here. $50 for Dr. Ben. Jeffrey Gale, $50. Frank Young, $50. Wilton and Francis Anderson, $50.
Brother Hector from St. Croix, $50.
Brother Hector from St. Croix, $50. Lydia Arnold, $75 whole dollars. Emmeline Paul, $50. Willa Reed DeLyons, $50. Catherine Johnson, $50.
And Kosi King and his wife, his queen, Tosca King, $50. And Kosi King.
And Kosi King and his wife Tosca King, $50 whole dollars. Don't send me no notes, send me some money. Donald Fortune, $50. Y'all taking all these pictures to get some money now.
Telling people in the balcony again. We got a basket.
All in the balcony, we got a basket, or you can throw it down, we can catch. There are baskets up there.
Up there? Yeah.
Stephen Dixon and Donna Apple, $100. Lamar Strofer, $50 whole dollars. Come on, we need some more 50s.
Vernon and Marion.
Vernon and Marion Francis, $50. Brenda Arlene, $50. Efficiency Home and Office Cleaning, $100. That's right, just come on. Security, check the bathroom, pull them people out, tell them it's offer time. Don't worry, if you ain't got 50, I'm coming all the way down to food stamps, don't worry. Jennifer Sanji, $50. I'm laughing, but we're not joking. We really want to be supportive of Dr. Ben. Nobody deserves this more. Dr. Ben, he don't ask for nothing. We're insisting that we give him some of the fruits of his labor. Ain't no use in talking about giving flowers after he's gone. Let him know now how you love him. People like to cry and slob all over you after you gone. And don't do nothing with you or for you while you're here. Now is the time to show your love. He's certainly shown it to us. Philip Banks Jr., $50. Come on, any more 50s? All right, you that didn't have 50. Oh, come on, brother. No, I almost went down, but I saw you stand up. Bro, Joshua, come on out here with some money. I saw you all over the TV, you big businessman now. Give us some of that fruit.
Tarek Alexander.
Brother Alexander.
Tarek
Alexander. $50. $100. Give him a big hand. You that did not have 50 or 100, let's move quickly. Now everybody stand up with $20. $20 or more. Everybody got 20. If you ain't got 20, stand up and borrow from the girl next to you, tell her you pay her next week this time. Everybody $20. Let's have a line all the way around the church. Come on, $20.